All right, today we're diving into something pretty amazing, the actual blueprint of the human body. We're going to break down how we're all built, starting from the tiniest microscopic parts and scaling all the way up to, well, you. So, to get our heads around this, let's start with something we all know, the stomach. I mean, we know it digests our food, right? But what is it actually made of? We're going to use it as our guide to unlock the body's entire organizational chart. You know, the stomach is just a perfect example of incredible biological design. Scientists call it an organ, which is basically a structure built from a bunch of different specialized layers all working together. And to really get how it works, we need to zoom in and look at its most basic parts. Okay, so let's start peeling back those layers. First things first, we're going to look inside and find the absolute most fundamental building blocks that make an organ like the stomach even possible. Think about it. If you want to understand any complex machine, you've got to start with its smallest nuts and bolts. And in biology, that smallest part is the one thing that all living things have in common. And that part is the cell. It's the absolute foundation of all life. But you know, a single cell on its own can only do so much. The real magic happens when they get organized. And that organization is what creates the body's real building blocks. This is where we start to see how these individual little cells group up to form specialized, highly functional teams. So when a bunch of similar cells get together to do one specific job, they form what's called a tissue. This is the next level up. It's how you go from just a pile of cells to a specialized team with a shared mission. A fantastic example of this is muscle tissue. The cells here have one main job: to contract, to squeeze. And when millions of them do that all at once, they create the force that lets you move your arms and legs, and of course, turn up the food in your stomach. But it's not all about movement. Other tissues are like tiny factories. Take glandular tissue, for example. Its whole purpose is to make and release important stuff, like hormones or the digestive enzymes your stomach needs. So right there, you see two very different tissues with two very specialized jobs. So you've got one tissue that's all about creating force, and another that's all about making chemicals. This idea of specialization is absolutely key. By having groups of cells focus on very specific tasks, the body can pull off an incredible number of complex jobs all at the same time. Each tissue is basically an expert in its own field. Okay, so if we've got all these specialized tissues, how do they come together to do something even bigger? Well, that's where we get to the process of assembling an organ. And that brings us to the organ itself. See, an organ isn't made of just one kind of tissue. Nope, it's a multi-talented structure. It combines different tissues, all working together to carry out a really complex job, like digestion. And with that, let's circle right back to our friend the stomach. Now that we know what tissues are, we can really see how it operates as a true team player. Inside your stomach, it's like a symphony of cooperation. You've got the muscular tissue doing all the heavy lifting, churning, and mixing everything up. At the exact same time, the glandular tissue is releasing all those digestive juices to break the food down chemically. And then, wrapping the whole thing up, you've got epithelial tissue, which creates a protective lining. It's this amazing combination of different experts that lets the stomach do its job so well. But hold on, even an organ as complicated as the stomach doesn't work alone. For the last piece of our blueprint, we've got to zoom out one final time to see the whole system. Organs team up in even bigger groups called organ systems. This is where multiple organs coordinate to handle a huge, major process for the entire body. So the stomach, for instance, is just one player on the digestive system's team. It needs the esophagus to deliver the food, and it relies on the intestines to take over and absorb the nutrients. It's like a complex supply chain, and no single organ could possibly do the whole job by itself. So, let's quickly recap the whole blueprint. It all starts with the basic cell. Cells group together to form tissues. Tissues assemble to build organs, and organs team up to create powerful organ systems. See? Each level builds on the one before it. It's a beautiful, logical progression. And what happens when you put all of those systems together? The digestive, the circulatory, the nervous system, all of them? Well, you get the final product, a complete working organism. You get you, an incredible coordinated network of trillions of parts, all working together in perfect harmony. So the next time your stomach grumbles, just take a second to remember the incredible levels of organization that are happening inside you.
This amazing blueprint, from a tiny cell all the way up to a complete system, is literally the foundation for all complex life. It really leaves you with a pretty powerful thought, doesn't it? That from the simplest, most specialized parts, something incredibly complex and intelligent can emerge.